Hello, guys. Welcome to our YouScan Meetup series with me. Our YouScan Meetup series are taking place each month. Basically, every single month, the last Wednesday of each month, we are dedicating our time to give you some extra knowledge about different parts of the tool that you guys are either struggling with or that might be challenging from time to time. We are actually taking the requests that we receive from you by emails or chats and trying to find some traces of your requests and give you additional information and so to say teach you how to utilize UScan in the best way and avoid some mistakes, omissions, or any potential challenges that you might be facing with the UScan. So today's our third episode, and today we're going to talk about the omissions and how, make your results better and get every single mention that you are looking for. Before I kick off the whole meetup, I wanted to say that you are welcome to post your questions in the chat or in the Q&A sessions. Also, don't worry that you might lose the thread of my conversation at some point of time. We are recording this meetup, this training, and we will be sending you both the presentation, the PDF presentation, and the recording of this meetup right after the meeting itself. So yeah, welcome everybody. I can see some familiar faces. Amazing, guys. Happy to see you. So I'm gonna kick this meeting off. And before we talk about the agenda of this meetup, I just wanted to explain you what is the omission in as a term in UScan. So we refer to the word omission in case we can't find specific mention in the monitoring topic. Imagine you're just scrolling through the Instagram or Facebook, or somebody out of your management or stakeholders is sending you a link to specific mention. And for some reason, you cannot find it in UScan. However, you think that your topic is perfectly set up and definitely this mention is supposed to be in your topic, but for some reason it's not. And there are two, not criteria, but two situations what could be the reason. So we would be looking at the reasons that are simply, let's say, false omissions. And basically the mention either exists in your topic, but you cannot find it, or your query is just set up in a way that it does not collect the mention. And the second option is, of course, there might be some platform restrictions that are preventing certain mentions to be collected into your monitoring topic. So I hope this is clear what does the omission means, and let's get started with our agenda. So, okay, for some reason I can click. Oh yeah, I can click. Yeah, so our agenda will be pretty concise today. So we'll have basically three main categories to discuss today, and these are the following. So we will be talking about what is false omissions, what are the sources specifics, and why certain type of posts or mentions are not getting into your topic, and the collection setup, the query and the filters that are, let's say, what are the hints or the best practices in setting up your query and filters in order to get as much data as possible. And by the end of this meeting, we will make a very, very short, quick quiz just to make sure you have digested the information, and also Q&A session by the end of the meeting. But it doesn't necessarily mean that your questions should be asked by the end of the meeting. Feel free to post them in the Q&A session, as I mentioned, or in the chat, right in the moment the question arises in your head, so you don't forget about your question. So let's move on. So, and the first and the foremost omission routes, so to say, are the following. So I'm actually building these bullet points based on your behavior, based on what I've seen so far working with you within those like complaints about the omissions. Because, or like from time to time I receive emails or chat saying like, hey Julia, why we don't have this particular mention in a topic or that particular mention in a topic. And it's not always actually that it does not exist in your topic. It might exist, but you're just not searching for it in the proper way. And the first and the foremost is the history collection performance. So sometimes you think that once you created the topic, it's already, so everything should be in the topic, but that's not fully true. So first of all our topics, when they are created from scratch, they are running by default the history collection just for the last 30 days. And it might be a chance that your particular mention that you're looking for is older than the last 30 days, right? So as you can see here on these two screenshots on the right side, so if, for instance, let's say a review was posted on the 2nd of March, but you are looking at the dates within this week, of course, you won't be able to see your mention, right? So make sure that the specific date the mention was posted is compliant to the calendar period within USCAN topic. And also, just a side note or a small like a hint, not a hint, but like reference. Every time you go on a tool from every single morning, let's say, or every day, it always will show you just the last 30 days for the results. If you need something longer, like let's say the results for the last 30 days, it's necessary not to only like get those data historically, right? Run historical collection, but also you need to change the view in your date range here on the right side, because it always shows you just the last 30 days. So basically, I just covered 2 points in one. So first of all, make sure you run the history collection. Second of all, make sure you are picking up the right period of time. So the third option for false omissions, right, is the mentions that are processed in the folder, that are like being collected under the processed folder. Let me show to you what does that mean. So can you let me know if you can see the USCAN tool instead of my presentation? Am I right? Just want to make sure that we are on the same page with you guys. Just give some plus in a chat. So if you look here, yeah, thank you, Beth, amazing. So if you look here at the left sidebar, you will see that there are like certain amount of folders where you can navigate your mentions. You will always see all mentions under the first section, but there might be a chance that you will be looking at the results within unprocessed or processed mention. And this is exactly where the trap could be, right? So if many users are utilizing the same topic, like let's say a couple of your colleagues working within the same topic, they might be using different approaches in terms of how they work with the data. And here in USCAN, you have an option to like move those mentions between the folders. Let's say somebody out of your team was working directly with the real mentions, and let's say the person just gave a note like this for himself or for herself and marked the mention as processed for its own references, so it would disappear from the view, which is called unprocessed. Once you click on any mention like with this like checkmark processed, they will be automatically moved to the processed folder. And here could happen the confusion, right? If you would look on the unprocessed mentions, there might be a chance that you won't find every single mention that you want. And it's always worth checking whether specific mention that you are missing under the unprocessed section could potentially be in the processed folder. If you just click back on the green button here, they will get back again into processed folder. So next point is the bin folder. So I'm not gonna open up the presentation again. I'll just show it in the tool right away. There is like a force case where you might have a false omission. So basically the mention exists in the tool, but you just don't see it. And this could happen if you have specific rules set up. If I'm gonna go to my settings on the very bottom and hover over to the rules section, You'll see that I have a plenty of rules. I mean, I've been doing specific research here, so don't be surprised to see that many rules. But on the very bottom, I have a rule that is called move to the bin. And actually, it says that I'm moving to the bin, to the trash, specific group of mentions. In my case, it's the extended repost. And imagine I'm going to look for some extended repost. And if I would have this rule move to the bin, I will never ever see the mention here anymore, like under all section, neither under unprocessed or processed. So everything that has the rule move to the bin will be moved to the bin. And moreover, after 30 days of being here, like in the bin, it's going to be fully removed from your topic. So again, if many people are collaborating within the same topic, there might be a chance that somebody created a specific rule and you don't know about this rule, and and specific mentions are just being, pre-forwarded to the bin. So the first step after making sure you have history collection, making sure that you have a proper date range set up, after checking that whether the mention is processed or not, we suggest to go to the settings and make sure you don't have any like conflicting rules that are just moving your mentions to the bin. It's been many times when we have encountered this issue after some of our clients have complained that they don't see specific mentions in the tool. So the only thing you need to do, you just need to delete the rule and that's it. So the mention will get back. It's not gonna get back. I mean, if it's in the bin here, it's gonna be restored. But if it's already gone, like since it's more than 30 days, of course, you will need to run the historical collection from the scratch, like once again, to get it into your monitoring topic. So that's the first and probably one of the most and the major method how to find such false omissions. Now we will be looking at the second part here, unless we have any questions. Currently, no questions. Okay, let's move on. So the next part would be sources related specifics. So we have different sources, and different sources, they provide us with different type of data. So we cannot collect everything that exists within, let's say, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever. So each platform gives some restrictions, so to say. And knowing those restrictions may answer your question why this or that mention is not being collected into your monitoring topic. So let's start first with Instagram. Well, first of all, the biggest problem usually that we are facing in terms of customers' complaints is the Instagram. First and foremost, in order to collect Instagram, you need to have the authorization of the Facebook business page that is linked to the business page of the to the Instagram business page, right? So they have to be linked together in the Meta account, like Meta business account. Once you have the integration, you will start collecting mentions from Instagram. If you don't have this authorization, there will be simply zero data from Instagram. That's why from time to time you might be seeing emails from me saying, hey guys, I just realized that your Facebook authorization has expired because you should renew it once every 90 days. And usually there is like a pop-up message in your account saying that Instagram data is not being collected, but you don't really go on a tool every single day. So sometimes if I notice that, I'm going to send you a notification, or I'm already doing that, right? And second point, which is important in terms of Instagram collection and the authorization itself, is that by providing the authorization, you will be able to collect mentions where your brand or your company was tagged via handle, and you'll be able to collect comments from owned pages. But you will need to add your owned page as a channel in order to collect comments. Sorry for the misspelling. Oh my God, I'm so bad at spelling sometimes. But this means comments here. Yeah. So again, in order to collect comments and from own channels, you will need to add your own channel, your own page as a channel. Now let's move on, and the next will be TikTok. Because the TikTok is pretty easy. You don't need any authorizations, but what you should keep in mind is that first of all, we collect TikTok by the keywords only, and we collect in the regular collection via query, Boolean query, only the posts. So we don't collect comments, unfortunately, via the regular collection, right? With the Boolean operators. And the second pointer is related to the comments. So in case you need to collect comments, you would need to add specific group, not the group, it's called channel from TikTok, or specific video into the channels, and only after we'll be able to collect comments. So just two main key takeaway here. With the regular collection, we collect posts only via keywords, hashtags, whatever. And if you need to collect comments, just add the page via channel. And let's move to the Facebook, the tricky Facebook. So obviously, if we need authorization for Instagram, we need authorization for Facebook. Basically, the authorization is done through the Facebook business account, right? And the collection here is pretty much the same. So in order to collect handles like comments from your own pages, you will need to add those pages as channels, your own pages, right? Also, what is very important to mention here is from where we are collecting the mentions. There is a very specific restriction of the Facebook that says that we can only collect mentions from public pages on Facebook. If you are a Facebook user, you will probably know that there are private accounts, which could be like open or closed. But these are the accounts of regular people, like physical, like mine or yours. Then you have groups where people, like big bunch of people, can discuss something. We have private pages, not private pages, public pages for businesses. And out of these three segments, we are able to collect mentions just from the search, just from the public business pages. Basically, almost all more or less medium size, even small size companies or brands, they have official business pages. And that's why we can collect the mentions out of there, right? So, but if you're wondering why we didn't collect the mention, let's say from the personal page of Elon Musk or Bill Gates, or why we didn't collect the mention from a group that is related to, let's say, news from Oklahoma, whatever. It's just because there are certain restrictions and we cannot collect such data. I just saw that we have a question from Beth for TikTok collection. Let me just read it out loud. So for TikTok collection, am I understanding it correctly that you would need to add an individual's TikTok page to collect comments? This is not just our own account, but all individual TikTok accounts. Yes, that's correct. So basically, comments are limited to the pages that you add manually. And of course, it's obvious that you will not add like millions of TikTok pages. It's just simply not possible. But you can add your own TikTok, and you can add, let's say, TikTok pages of your competitors. And then you will be able to track like their presence on TikTok, their metrics, and compare it with yours and do some sort of benchmarking, let's say. Or for instance, let's say you have seen in your regular collection that is picking up the posts that there is a specific influencer saying something about your brand, and you want to understand what exactly is happening in the comments, then you can take the URL of this TikTok post and add it to the channels, and then we will collect specifically comments from this particular video, so to say. So in your case, Beth, for instance, somebody says something about your company and you just want to understand like whether the comments are the same in terms of the sentiment analysis, then you can add just a specific URL to the specific video, and that's it. You don't need to add the entire page of the TikTok influence. Cool, let's move on. And Beth, thanks for your question. Amazing. Now let's move to the LinkedIn. So for LinkedIn, we also need an authorization, and from time to time, you do come to me or to our other managers saying like, hey guys, you said that you're collecting LinkedIn, but we don't see any traces of those data. It's just because you don't have the authorization again. So make sure you have the authorization to your business page, and then we will collect posts. And again, also add it through the channels, your own pages. or the pages of your competitors. So in the case of LinkedIn, you will need to add every single page via channel. So there is no such things like a regular collection for LinkedIn. So once you add your pages and let's say your competitors, you'll be able to see posts, right? And if you add your own channel, you'll be able to also collect handles and where your brand or company was tagged on LinkedIn, and also comments to your own pages, to your own content, sorry. Okay, I'm ready to move on. If there are no questions, we would go to the next slide. Yeah, and the next one is the collection setup. So again, there is several ways or several things that are affecting the mentions, preventing the mentions from being collected into your topic. So we just talked about the false omissions, right? About the sources specifics, and now we will be talking about the query setup. Usually the biggest, like the quickest, or not the biggest, how can I put this out? So usually in the most of the cases, when you guys are coming to us in the chat and saying like why this or that mention didn't appear in a topic, most of the times something is not like good with the query that you have. And there are several points here that you need to consider drafting the query or adjusting the query. Well, first of all, and the foremost, is you might be just lacking specific keywords. Maybe just the form of the keyword, or maybe user just misspelled, let's say, a brand name or a concept that you're looking for. Because people, as you saw, like I did the misspelling for the word comments, right? I do a lot of mistakes, and there are other people who are doing a lot of spelling mistakes. So when you're creating the query, make sure you have as many possible options for your keywords as you can come up with, including the misspellings. Second point is no hashtags for Instagram collection. This is actually very crucial for Instagram. So most of the sources that we collect, actually all sources except Instagram, they are being collected within regular keyword collection. It's like hashtags, keywords, handles, whatever. But for Instagram, you would be able to collect data only by specifying hashtags. So if you would, so let's take a look at this example with the hair care, for example. If I would write in my query hair care as two separate words without any reference to the hashtag, I will never get any results from Instagram. So when I'm creating a query and I'm thinking of getting also data from Instagram, I would need to like make a double, like a duplicate of every keyword that I have, let's say that is written with the distance operator or in quotation marks, since it's a phrase. We would need to come up with the hashtag analog, right? As with the hair care, for example. Then we will have an ability to collect Instagram. The next point is the distance operator between the keywords. So you might be drafting the query, let's say, what I can come up with, like, I don't know, just Pizza Hut, for example, right? When I will be doing the Pizza Hut and let's say the second part of the query would be Pizza Hut and locations, we will be looking at some results where people are referring to the locations of the Pizza Hut chain. And most of the time we would be using specific distance operator, let's say /10. So we are looking at the results between Pizza Hut and locations within 10 different words. But there might be a chance that specific mention that you're missing in your topic has the distance that is bigger than the one that you set up in the distance operator, let's say 12, 13. So when you're creating the Boolean operators, it's always like, it's a dilemma, right? What type of distance to choose so you don't get overwhelmed by the irrelevant results, but you still keep like almost all possible mentions that you can collect. So by playing with the distance operator, it just takes a little bit of time to find the best suitable distance operator between your concepts in the query. So and what I can suggest in this case if you find something like that, let's say distance operator is way bigger than the one that you have in the query, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to change your query, because you might change it to the bigger distance operator and you will just, you will be just drawn into the trash, because there will be tons of irrelevant mentions coming in. Maybe it's just worth adding one mention like this manually, and that's it, and just keep on working with the query as it is. The next possible problem that is like conflicting or creating some challenges in terms of mention being collected into your topic is the Boolean logic that you use. I've seen that many times. Sometimes instead of and you use or instead of slash number you use near slash and number. Near does not exist in useCan. So just make sure you reread your Boolean query, and that is all set up properly, right? And the last but not least is stop words. This is also funny. Sometimes we come up with the situations, not come up, we are getting into the situations where we cannot collect the mentions because we just simply put the stop word, one of the words from the mention, into the stop word. So to understand that, again, you will need to read the mention, the original mention from specific source, and to look at your query and make sure that you don't have anything in the stop words that prevents this particular mention from being collected into your topic. Cool. I think I have somebody raised the hand. Liam Nuri, you just raised the hand, but I cannot give you the ability to talk. Could you please just type your question in the chat or in the Q&A session? I'll be very, very thankful. Okay. Let's move on. So once you just write your chat, I'm gonna see that I'm gonna respond to your question. Now let's move on. Now we will be talking about the filters that might be blocking specific mentions from being collected into your topic. And here we have just 3 points. So there is something also like, there's something related to sources specifics. Let's say Instagram, Telegram, and Twitch, they don't have any geographical metadata. And if in your filters, like topic level, main topic level filters, you are specifying that you're looking for the results, let's say from UK or from the United States only, you will get rid of the data from Instagram, Telegram, and Twitch, just simply because they have no geographical data on the backend, like on the metadata. So what we suggest to do here is to also use the undefined geo in the filters. So it's always in the list of the countries. So you specify the main country, and then you just specify the undefined geo. Of course, it might give you not like 100% relevant data, because you never know like from where people are posting in Instagram or Telegram or Twitch. But there's just simply like no other way how you can do that in any other tool. It's not just like about useCan, about other competitors as well. Next point is the undefined language. And we have 2 types of undefined language in the tool. It's undefined Latin and undefined Cyrillic or Cyrillic, whatever you call it. And this is also a little bit tricky. Usually we use it in order to collect mentions that have a combination of several languages. So if it's a Latin script combined mention, you would need to use the undefined Latin filter. If it's like a combination of couple of Cyrillic languages, then you will need to use the undefined languages that are using the Cyrillic script. Why this is happening? Actually, if you take a look at this example here, you will see that this particular mention has 2 languages in it. It has, I suppose that this is Portuguese and English. And if you would just click on English language and start the collection for your topic, you will not be able to collect this mention because the system recognizes it as the undefined Latin. And this will be applicable for any other language that is using Latin script. So let's say French and English, Spanish and English, whatever. So any mention that has couple of languages will be always collected under the undefined Latin language filter. And last but not least is the thing that is called excluded. you might be, when you are working in the topic, there might be a chance that you either by mistake or intentionally just exclude specific publication places, authors, or even the whole source from your topic. I'm going to show that in the original topic right away. So how this is happening, let's say you're just like scrolling through the results, and for some point of time, you think that this mention has nothing to do with your monitoring object. What you can do, you can click on the name of the author and exclude this author, so the results from this author will never ever appear in your topic anymore. But one day, let's say this author starts writing something about the object of your monitoring, and of course you won't see any traces of dimensions from this particular person or channel. So once you click on this like exclude button, all mentions from this specific author, they would trap here under excluded section. So you go just to settings, then you go to excluded sections, and you will see one of the excluded authors, publication places, or sources here. Let's just exclude somebody right away. So, oops, sorry. I'm just gonna exclude this channel. And if I go again to settings, excluded, I will see that these publication places fully excluded from the monitoring. That's why I don't see any traces of dimensions from this particular place. So in order to get dimensions back into the monitoring, you just need to click on the restore button, and that's it. And dimension will appear in your results once again. Let me get back to my presentation. Yeah, let me see if any other question arises. No, okay, let's move on. And now I think I just have like 2 slides left for you for today. So here are few more tips why specific mention has not been collected into your topic. First and foremost, we already talked about it. You didn't add it specific channels. Let's say if you're looking for comments, you didn't add the TikTok channel, or if you're looking for your own post, you didn't add Facebook and Instagram to the channel, or LinkedIn, right? The second point here is that there might be a case that your stakeholders or management or you yourself somehow found a video on YouTube where an influencer or somebody else, no, it doesn't necessarily mean that the person is an influencer, are talking about your brand. But you don't find this specific video in the results in the you scan. And this could be just because you don't have the audio recognition, like audio monitoring add-on enabled, because it's like additional functionality. And if the person talks about your brand throughout the video, but the person does not refers to your brand or the situation that you're monitoring in the title or subtitle, or in the title or description, we won't be able to collect it. So the only way to collect mentions that are like that the people are referring to throughout the video is to get the audio monitoring add-on. I see that there might be some questions here. Okay, not yet, not ready. Mohammed, I'm waiting for your question. While you're typing, I'm gonna just keep on explaining like the next points. The next point is pretty similar to the subtitles thing, to audio monitoring, is the mentions where your logo, like on this example on the right side, was mentioned, like it just exists on the picture, but there is no reference to your company brand or situation, like your keywords in the text mention itself. I mean, if you don't have the logo recognition add-on in your subscription, you won't be able to collect such mentions. So mentions where we have logo or text placed on the picture is available only as an additional functionality. So basic plans, they don't have this option for such mentions collections. And last but not least, I'm going to repeat myself once again about the TikTok comments. So unless you add a channel or a video unless you add a page, TikTok page, or a specific video from TikTok to your channels, you won't be able to collect comments. And by the way, here I spelled the comments properly. Thanks God. Okay, let me see the question. Are we recording the presentation? Yes, we are recording the presentation, and you will receive it probably tomorrow via email, both the presentation and the recording of the call. And now let's almost wrap this up with the last slide, with the theoretical part. So there are two more things that could prevent the mentions to pop up in your topic or to be collected in your topic. The first one is the data sample add-on, not the add-on, but the functionality. So if you, again, are working with a couple of colleagues in the tool, there might be a chance that somebody will create a sample topic. And if you see a circle on the left side of the topic name or a circle here, also on the left side of the topic name, it means that the data in the topic are sampled. And physically, you can see only a specific percentage of the mentions. You'll be able to see the analytical part, the data, like the statistical data in the full scope, like 100%, but physically scrolling through the data will be sampled, right? That's why not every single mention will be collected in such a topic. This is something you should keep in mind. And the last but not least, I would say actually the last one is cases where original post was edited at some point. Either a keyword or a hashtag in your query that picked up the mention right away once it was posted, because UScan picks up mentions pretty quickly. I mean, it may differ from source to source, but usually, let's say within a couple of hours or maximum a day, right? But when such posts are being edited from the original source by the original content creator, we won't be able to see those changes. We just collect the mention once, and that's it. We'll never return and check whether the post was edited or not. We return to collect the engagement, because this is very important, like amount of likes, comments, views, whatever. Such statistical data we update several times, but we never check, unfortunately, whether the mention was edited or not. That's why it could be also a reason why you don't see specific mentions in a topic. In this case, I would suggest you to add such a mention just manually into the topic. Cool. Now I have one more slide for you, sorry. Yeah, so this one is for sure the last one. So, and actually I'm repeating myself once again. So regarding the collection method, again, there might be a chance that specific source, author, or publication places is excluded. And this is something I already showed you in the topic. You just go to settings, you go to excluded, you make sure that specific author is not into excluded section here. And just to recap that there might be also a rule that sends the mentions to the bin. So this is also very important. Always make sure you check the rules in case you don't find specific mentions. Now let's just make two very quick questions, just to make sure you listened carefully to what I was saying. No, I'm not pushing you. I'm not like trying to scare you or, like make the appearance like I'm a tutor or a teacher here. It's just for fun. So I have two very basic questions for you, and then we can wrap the entire meeting. So let's take a look at this example here from Instagram. So I have a query here which says league/1 legends, or LOL. LOL is the shortened form of the League of the Legends. League of the Legends is a very famous video game. So we have a specific mention that was not collected into the topic using this specific query. And my question to you is why? Let me just launch the poll. So you have a couple of options to answer. And I'll give you probably like, I don't know, 1 minute to answer this question. So once again, let's just think a little bit like why we were not able to collect this mention into our topic using the query that I just specified in the yellow box. So I have two options. So I just used like two keywords. I used the keyword League of Legends with the hashtag or with the distance operator. And I also used the abbreviation LOL in the quotation marks. So I mean, I think this is quite easy, especially if you look at the answers. Yeah, I can already see some answers here. Um, this is the main conflicting thing that usually prevents mentions from Instagram to being collected into your topic. Let me just make a sip of water. Okay, cool. I can see that there are some answers. Let's move on to the second section. No, let's just see the proper response. So the answer is pretty easy. There was no hashtag in the query. So in order to make sure you collect the data from Instagram, you will need to add also all possible hashtags related to your monitoring objects. Hi, Mohammed, I'm not really sure I understand your question. There is off in the query. What is off? League of Legends is the name of the game, so off should be there because it's the part of the brand name of this game. Now let's move to the second question. Actually, if you scroll your poll, you will see the second question is very basic also. So the question is like, what type of data we are able to collect from the Facebook? And you have basically three answers. We can collect all type of mentions. We can collect mentions from public groups. We can collect mentions from public pages only, or you have an option to answer you don't know. That's okay for sure as well. Again, I'm giving you just a couple of seconds to respond to this question. And in the meantime, just wanted to remind you guys that, again, the meeting has been recorded. If you have any questions based on what we just ran through today, feel free to post it in the webinar chat or in the Q&A session. I'll be happy to answer. Even if you come up with the questions afterwards, feel free to email me and or just go into the tool and ask our support team your questions in the chat. So now let's see the question, the answer for this second question. So I can see that actually most of you responded properly. So the answer is that we are able to collect just the mentions from the public pages only. And in my last slide, you can see that those like public pages, they have specific appearance. They will always have this like an information box that it says that it's a page rather than a page of a, like regular user that is not, let's say, a business owner, so or something like that. And somebody responded that all type of mentions, no, unfortunately not. We wish we can do that. That would make our monitoring of Facebook much easier. However, it is what it is, right? So I'm right now ending the poll. Thank you for responding to the questions. It's really amazing that you guys like were attentive till the very end of the of this meeting, of this training, and you took a chance and you responded to my questions. That's amazing. Thank you so much. So now let's move on to the Q&A session. So again, if you have any questions, let's just put them in the chat. Thank you guys a lot for joining this session. It's always a pleasure to have you with us and to see that you're curious to know more about the UScan functionality. So we will see each other in 1 month, last Wednesday of April. And you'll receive the not the updated invitation, but you will receive a reminder that we have a next meeting scheduled by the end of the April, and we will be discussing some other part of the functionality of the UScan. So now I'm wishing everybody a nice either end of the day or the beginning of the day, depending on where you are. And it was lovely talking to you. So see you next month. Bye.